Wedding photography with only two primes. Is it possible to be done or not? Let's talk a little bit about this topic. Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I'd like to talk to you about an interesting topic, a question actually. And that question would be, to do a wedding, to shoot a wedding with two primes, is it possible or not? Now, I have to tell you that it is possible. It's not easy, but it is possible. Now, in my own experience, I didn't do any wedding with two primes, but I did it with three. So I remember I wanted to make it a challenge, and I said, okay, let's give a try and let's see if I can do a whole wedding with only three primes. And the only reason I did with three primes because I didn't have a macro lens on a shorter focal length, so I had to choose a macro lens as well. So what I did with the 28mm f2. On that time I was using the Sony E-mount system, the Sony A7R, the Sony A7 Mark II, and the Sony A6000. So I was shooting this wedding, I remember, with the Sony A7R and the Sony A6000. So I did a 28mm f2, I did a 55mm f1.8 Zeiss, Sony Zeiss lens, and I did the 90mm f2.8 macro lens. Now, I tell you something, was it easy? No, it wasn't. It was not easy, but in the same time, it's possible. I had to walk a lot, and I had to think a lot, but it was possible. And I tell you something, in some situations I would say that it's even helpful because it makes you think in advance, In some situations, in certain situations, you might find yourself that you think in advance, you think, where should I get to go to get the next shot, as good as possible in the angle I want and in the frame that I want. Now, obviously, there were some situations, especially in the church, where you can't really move around how much, where you want and how you want, because you are kind of limited, during the church service. But in that time period, I used the Sony A7R, and that was like 36 megapixel, a full frame sensor. So after that, in post processing, I could crop, no problem. It was no problem at all. So especially if you want to do a whole wedding, let's say with two primes, I would suggest to use a full frame camera, or if not, as high megapixel as possible. But at the moment, the highest megapixel on the APS-C side, it's only 24 megapixels, so that's not really good, because you can't really crop in after that in post-processing. But if you could use a 36 megapixel camera, it's much better because you have the freedom to crop in after that. So that's why the Sony A7R, it was very, very good for that type of photography. Now, again, it makes, if you shoot only with primes, and this is my own experience, and I tell you, it's right. It's like then, and I think that any photographer who used primes, he will confirm this, that if you use prime lenses, the prime lens will make you thinking. It makes you more careful, Before you press the shutter, you must be sure that your shot is right. And this is good in one way. Because like I say many times, my idea is, and my type is like how I should get it right in the camera. I don't really like to do a lot of editing in post-processing, I don't really use Photoshop. I don't want to use Photoshop. Sometimes I use if it's necessary, but if I can, I try everything to avoid Photoshop. So what I do usually, I try as much as I can, my best to get it right in the camera. And this way, zooms are obviously, it's much more comfortable. You know, you can frame however you like. You know, you don't have to walk over there. You are just standing in a position and you can do your shots. But in the same time, like I said, it's possible. And interestingly, if I will tell you this, maybe you won't believe it, but between these three primes, the 28 millimeter, the 55 and the 90 millimeter, the mostly I use the 55 millimeter Zeiss. I would say that the 70% of the wedding I use the 55 millimeter. I walked a little bit in and out, that's true, and I framed like that, you know, the subject, but it is possible. So what I would choose if I would have to go on a wedding, what primes I would choose to shoot a wedding? Well, I have to tell you, in my experience, you would need a prime which is wide enough to do the wide shots if you have to, but most of the time you will have to do wide shots. So you would need a prime which is wide enough for that, and for that I would choose a 24 millimeter f4 lens, 24 millimeter f1.4, and for the second lens I would choose an 85 millimeter f1.4. Now if I could choose two lenses, which one I use on a wedding? These two lenses I would choose, 24 millimeter, because like I said, on that wedding I used the 28 millimeter f2. That was my widest lens, and I did it. It was okay, you know. I won't say that in some situations it wouldn't be good to have a wider lens. I won't say that, but in the same time I could do it. So if I could do it with 28 millimeter, it's possible with a 24 millimeter lens. So that is wide enough. And in the same time, let's not forget that most of the cameras will have also crop in functionalities, you know, in the camera. So the example, the Sony A7R, if you used it like on a crop sensor, you know, actually the 55 millimeter, you know, no, sorry, not the 55 millimeter, the 85 millimeter, if you use, it will become suddenly 130 millimeter roughly. Yeah. So you will have longer reach. Of course, you can do like you do the picture and you do it in post-processing, you crop in. But I tell you something, and this is again my experience, if you crop in post-processing, it's never as good as if you crop in the camera. I did try this. I don't know why. The cropping in the camera, it's the same story like crop in the picture, that's true. But still, when and please guys, if you don't agree, try this. Try. Put a lens on your camera, make a picture, then crop in the camera, you know, like put the functionality of your camera to crop 1.3, or I don't know how much does it crop your camera, and then make another photo, and then the photo you made with full, you know, the full sensor, crop the same in post-processing, and you will see that it's not the same. You will see that it's not the same. Anyway, so what I wanted to mention, that if you use a 24 millimeter, you can still crop in and you get a 35 millimeter, or you can use an 85 millimeter and crop in and you get a 130 millimeter roughly. It might be 124, I don't know, I don't really want to calculate now, but roughly it's around there. So at the end of the day, it can be done. And these are the two lenses I would choose, prime lenses I'm talking about, I would choose if I have to do a wedding. And like I said, it's possible, I did it. And I did it mostly with the 28 millimeter and the 55 millimeter. But in the same time, I had to use the 90 millimeter macro because I had to do some macro shots. So you need a macro lens, you know, in some situations. If you want to do the close-up shots of the ring, you know, and these kind of things. So if you want to be included, you know, the macro lens, then you have to choose, instead of the 85 millimeter, you have to choose the 90 millimeter macro f2.8. So it is possible, it can be done, but will it be as easy as with zoom lens? No, it will not be that easy, but it is possible. So I just wanted to share with you guys this. This is my opinion and this is my experience, you know, and I hope that somebody will find helpful this. And I hope that you like this video. If you like it, please like and subscribe. And if you think that I left something out, or if you think that something you can add, you know, to this video, please feel free and leave a comment down below. I am not a perfect person, I can make mistakes, but like I said, this is my experience, and I did this on a wedding, and I succeeded, and I was pretty pleased with the results. So it can be done. It's a little bit difficult, but it can be done. So if you have something to add to this video, please feel free and leave a comment down below, and let's help others, you know, with information. So other than that, I wish you a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.